All right, everyone. I'm going to start with the flag pillow. And I mentioned in class that I would record some of these so that it would help you understand the software a little bit better. So we're going to start here at the home screen. And you can see right up here at the top under my machines that I list all the machines that I currently own. And then I have gone over a couple of times the different icons that you see here, but we're going to go straight to the crafting icon. That opens up the program. And for this lesson, we're going to choose a 12 by 24-inch mat. You can actually create a custom size, and I've done that before, but tonight I'll just choose this one. Alrighty, so it's all set up here, and I have a 1-inch grid, which you can see clearly on this screen. But how I got to that 1-inch grid is I went over here to view the eyeball right there inside the eye, and I clicked on it. And then in the view screen, then I am able to see the size of the canvas, and it's 12 by 24. And it is also possible to change out the measurements, and you can create custom measurements, or you can decide whether you want to use a fat quarter measurement or a portrait. For the letter, I use it for print and cut. And so you have a variety of choices here, but we're going to just leave it at 12 by 24, the first option. The next part is to display the ruler. If you turn this off by sliding it to the left, you'll see that it just does not display the ruler at the top. And I am so used to that, I don't normally do that. Then down here is the grid. And yes, you can turn off the grid so you don't want to have to look at it, but I use it to help for sizing. And I have it set at 1 inch because I've chosen in my settings not the metric, but the imperial or standard, whichever it's listed. And the color of the grid currently is this bluish purple. And then down here is where the units are either inches or millimeters. So I'm choosing inches, obviously. So I'm going to start with the sections where the section of the pattern where it says cut fabric. So I'm going to close this eyeball. And I'm going to go over here to the icons here on the left. And if I just drag this down, I come down to the shapes menu and I click on it. And I'm going to select the shape. And another window pops up. And what I'm going to do is I am going to start with the shape that is going to be the blue with the white stars. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go to advanced, and I'm literally going to type in the size right from the pattern. I do want to unlock the proportions because it is not even, and I'll type in 3 inches for the height, and then 3.75 is the width. And I'll hit enter and then hit OK. And so I start with this piece that will go into the flag with the white stars. The color of the fabric is the dark blue, so right at the very beginning, I'm going to start assigning colors for my different pieces of fabric. So this one, I'm going to assign a blue, this blue right here. And there's that piece. The next piece I'm going to choose is the backing. And for the red, white, and blue stripe fabric, you want to make sure that it's going horizontal. And for that choice, I'm going to choose gray. So I'm going to go and duplicate this first shape. And the easiest way to duplicate is Control D, and it just makes another copy of it. And I'm going to change that quickly to the gray right here. Now, I am going to change the sizing right here on this screen, which is the path, and it is the spot where you would determine what type of path this is. But I'm going to name this as the flag pillow. So I just type that in. And then I am going to determine its size. So the first one for the backing is 8.5 for the width and 6 for the height. So 6 for the height and then 8.5 for the width. Now, before I hit enter, I'm going to change this and unlock it so I can get the correct measurements, because see, it already went into proportion. Oh, there we go. There. That's my backing. That's going to be the stripe. Now, the lower part of the flag is 8.5 by 3.5. So again, what I'm going to do is just duplicate, Control D. And I'm going to put this down here, and instead of being 6 inches tall, it's only 3.5. So I am going to just change that to 3.5. And there's the bottom of the flag. So that I'll put right under here. But I am going to also make a file for the upper flag. So Control D for my shape right here. And then that shape is 3 inches wide. And then, no, 3 inches tall. Sorry. That goes up here is 3 inches. And then 5.5. No, 5.25. Trying to read the worksheet. All right. So that will get stitched to this piece. And then these two will get stitched to this piece. So I like to try and minimize my fabric pieces. So I'm going to put this blue piece over here. And sometimes it's hard to grab it. So what I do is I like to grab it right where this line, the horizontal line, meets the vertical line with the centering and rotating mark. And then I just scroll out using my mouse. All right, so there, we got that. Now, do not think that you can just rotate these to make them fit. The point is they have to be horizontal. Otherwise, your flag is not going to look very good. I'll put it that way. If you choose some other fabric color that maybe isn't even a stripe, then that will work. But we're choosing a stripe fabric. So it's got to go horizontal because we're going to run the stripes parallel, or yeah, parallel this way, horizontally. Okay, now we're going to make the stars file, and we're going to use white glitter flecks. You'll find that in your kit. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, again, duplicate this. There's no sense in me trying to reinvent the wheel every time. So there's my duplicate. And then what I'm going to do is go back to the path section, and I'm going to change that to white because it is indeed white. All right. So this white glitter flecks will sit right over that flag, just like that. All righty. Now, what we have to do is we have to put in the stars. So I measured the size of the stars, and they're actually 3/8 inch, which is 0.375. So I'm going to go back over here to the shapes screen right there. And there's other options, of course, but we're working with shapes. And I'm going to click on shapes. And again, up pops my shape screen. And I am going to scroll all the way down to number 36, which is right there. And that is the shape of the star. Now, there's nothing that says you can't use another one of these, but I'm trying to make this look closest to the pattern as possible. So I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to go up here to advance. I'm going to turn, no, I don't want to turn that off. That's right. I don't want to turn that off. I just want to change the height to 0.375 and hit OK. Now that didn't work. So let's try it over here. 0.375. Oops. Don't you just love it? All these are going wrong right now. So over here in the back arrow, undo is your friend, your best friend. So what I'm going to do is I put the lock back on my proportions and 375 again. There. Now, I am going to zoom in, and there's a couple ways to do it. If you want to zoom into your selection, click this flower with the magnifying lens. And there it is. We don't need quite that big of a zoom. So I'm going to back out with my mouse button. I'm scrolling on my mouse. You can't see me do that, obviously. So now I'm going to drag this star, and this is especially important when you have these little tiny pieces. Put your cursor right up there where that horizontal line meets that vertical line, and that prevents it from making it larger or smaller or whatever you end up doing. And I've done that multiple times. So what I'm going to do next is I want to multiply my stars, and I want to add 3 stars. So I'm going to go over here to the icon right here. That's for multiply. I want to do it horizontally. Click on that. And then I'm going to add 3 stars because I want 4 total. It presets the spacing for me, but I want a 1/2 inch. And I just did that with playing around what I thought it should look like. So I'm going to go over here to the side panel. I'm going to click on it. And that's the box select. So I'm going to, whoops, you know what I did wrong? Undo. I didn't apply. There you go. Now we'll try the box select. There we are. And I want to group that. So right click with your mouse, select group. And now, see, this is what I want right here. I want it to sit. I'm having trouble with my mouse. I must need to get new batteries here. So what I really want to do is I want to just place that where I think it should be. And this is something you don't have to do exactly. You can set it up which looks which looks closest to the picture that's in the pattern. All right. Now I was able to fit 3 sets of 4. So what I'm going to do is I am going to again duplicate that. Okay, I got another set right there. And then I'm going to duplicate it again. And I'm going to put it right there. Now I'm going to box select. So I'm going to draw a box around all of them. And what I want to do next is to align them. Now, let me see if I can get this to make sense. So I want to align them vertically. So I'm going to click on this icon right here. See, and it will align them all vertically. So now I'm going to see if it makes a difference if I go horizontally. And see what happens? Squishes them all together. So undo. And we're going to leave it just like that. And we're going to come over here and group it. But before I group it, I need to do something else. And I could make the whole star again if I choose to. But I think that probably the easiest thing is to come over here and ungroup it. Duplicate one star, or box select 3 stars, because that's how many I think I'm going to fit. I don't know. Let's try. Control D. And let's see if I can put in, yep, that's what I want, right in between them. See? And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to group these 3. Now, to avoid confusion, open up your film strip, which is down here at the bottom. And when you open up your film strip, then you will see the 3 stars that I have currently grouped. So I make sure I click on group, puts them all in one file, as you'll see here. See? Then I am going to click on this, and in order to click on all of them, it makes it easiest if you select the arrow or multiple select. And then I'm just going to, besides that first one, I'm just going to click. I'm going to come over here and group it. Now you see the others are already grouped. But don't make the mistake of grouping the second row because we're going to need that again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just group this and this one. So do you see how I skipped over that? And now I can come over here and group. Okay, so there it sits where it's supposed to. Then this one, I'm going to group that. But first, I'm going to duplicate it, Control D. And I'm only going to duplicate it once. And again, I want to pick this one and this one. So I got those two. I'm going to come over here at the alignment tab, which is what this is right here. And I'm going to click horizontal. Looks like it looks pretty good. And I'm going to group that. There we go. So that's our basic star. And then I'm going to click on the other set of stars that we grouped, which is number 3 through 14. And I'm going to group them. And this is important that you group them together, because the next thing we're going to do is center it within this rectangle, which is the outline of your glitter flecks. So now down here in the film strip, I'm going to select that white piece and come over here, and I'm going to align it horizontal and vertical. It looks like it's okay now. Now I'm going to group that. Okay. Now we want to make holes in here. So that's how I ended up with having an individual star piece of glitter flecks. So now we go over to the path, and we're going to cut, but we're going to make holes right down here. Click on it. Voila. There you go. And it's ready. So what this is, when we go to press it, is we'll get rid of all this extra white glitter flecks, and the stars will be left on that piece. Okay, make sense? So let's scroll out, see how we look. So this looks pretty good. And I'm going to save each individual file. Honestly, I think it makes sense eventually, but for class, we are going to actually transfer all the gray pieces to a 24 by 24 or 12 by 24. If you were doing this at home, yes, you could do the 24 by 24 and do one big cut after you align your fabric. But for class purposes, we're going to have to divide it up into sections. So we're going to have a gray section, which is a striped fabric. We're going to have the specialty window, or for the mat for the specialty materials that we're using. And then we are going to have a red and blue mat and the anchor fabric mat. So we're going to cut these files 4 times. All righty. So hopefully you don't have any questions, and we're good to go. Don't forget to save it. Your file is save and save as, and then I just numbered them how they were in the sheet so you can actually see. This should be, I'm going to put it in my individual files folder. So in the individual file folder, this is one flag pillow, not 3-star pillow. So don't make that mistake. Change it to one flag pillow if you have it. I'm just going to say no because everything's all good to go. So I'm just going to cancel this, but I think you understand. All right. If you have any questions, just ask me. I'll help you out. All righty. I'm going to shut everything down here and do the next screen. So we'll stop the share. And we'll turn off the recording.